Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you 8 different ways that you can start a YouTube channel and do it without really having much money to spend. So if you're broke or you just don't have a whole lot of money to invest in your YouTube channel, here are some different ideas that you can do. So first, before you even look at channels to start, you may need some sort of video editing software. So as far as free video editing software that can kind of be a free alternative to some of the other ones like Movavi or Camtasia Studios or whatever, then you can try blackmagicdesign.com, and they have something called DaVinci Resolve 16. So I would encourage you to look into that one. That's one of the better free ones out there. And then you also have Lightworks, which is at lwks.com. So those two are some of the better reviewed free video editing softwares that you can use for alternatives to some of the more expensive ones that normally professional YouTubers would use. All right, so the first way that you could start a YouTube channel without having much of anything to invest in it would be to film yourself talking on your phone. So you could basically, like if you know a lot about a subject, let's say you're really good at investing or something like that. Well, you could do different little educational YouTube videos where you're just walking around your house talking or something. That's kind of what Tai Lopez does. Whether you like him or not, whether you agree with what he does or not, I'm not going to get into that right now, but I'm just using this as an example just because he does a lot of these types of videos where he's just recording himself with his phone. It seems to work. He has 1.3 million subscribers. It looks something like this. He'll have his phone in one hand doing the front screen and just recording himself giving some tips on business or something. And then another one that's actually been a pretty decent video with 16,000 views is one by a guy named Graham Stephan, or Graham Stephan, however you say his name, and he gives investing advice and real estate advice, and basically he does the same type thing. He's looking around this house that I believe he's showing to a client or a potential home buyer and just giving real estate advice. So you can do that with just your regular phone's camera. You probably have a smartphone with a front-facing camera. The second thing you can do is do phone screen share app recording. So basically you're going to need some sort of free recording app unless you want to pay for one. But if you want to get a good free one for Android, I recommend AZ Screen Recorder. That's one I've liked to use. It's got really good reviews, over 1 million of them with about a 4.5 out of 5 star rating. So I would go for that, and it's very easy to use, it's free, and it gives you a lot of options, and then you can of course use them to upload to YouTube. And then you also have Record It Screen Recorder for Apple. So you can use that as a free screen recorder for Apple. So now you can screen record your phone. And what you can do with this, as I mentioned, one thing you can do is like app reviews. So you could do apps. So like I reviewed this app called SlideJoy one time, a long time ago. And that was back in 2017 actually. But you'll notice that like midway through the video, if you look up this video, it shows me using the app on my phone with a screen recording software. So this is literally as I'm using it on the phone, and that's where that footage came from. So you could look up that as an example. A third thing you could do is also related to smartphones. You could do mobile gaming. So all this gaming stuff is taking off right now. You could do mobile gaming tutorials, playthroughs, whatever. You could do all kinds of things related to gaming, except you could do it on mobile, and it might actually be a lot cheaper than doing it with Twitch or something like that. So you could just get AZ Screen Recorder for your Android device or record it with your Apple device, and then record yourself playing Clash of Clans like this guy did, Galadon Gaming, and got about 26,000 views so far on this one. and you can do stuff like that. It'll basically look something like this. You can record it and have that in the middle of your screen. And this guy actually did something smart and put like a visual behind that, because as you saw, like in my example, there's a lot of black space, just blank space on the sides when you record from your phone, especially when you do it vertically like I did on mine. Then you can just fill that space with something related to the video, or promote your social media or something like that, like he did. So mobile gaming's another thing you could do with a free screen recorder on your phone. Another thing you could do is record your laptop or just PC screen. So you're going to need some sort, if you're pretty much broke and you don't want to spend money on this, you can use a screen recorder that's actually free called Screencast-O-Matic. You can go to screencast-o-matic.com and try their video recorder that's free. And then of course you can get the paid one later on. It just might say, like, it might have some branding in the corner or something like that when you're using the free version. But you can do PC reviews of all sorts. You can review software. So like if you were to review like an email marketing software I like to use is GetResponse. If I wanted to look up GetResponse reviews on YouTube, I would find a lot of people on here that show you what it looks like when you're using GetResponse on your computer, because they are recording their screen. So you could use a free screen recorder like Screencast-O-Matic and record your screen using this software and review it. Now there are plenty of other things you can review, and just use that to get the footage. And then of course one of those free video editors that I mentioned earlier. Now along the same lines, you can do something like screen recording your tutorials for like how to code or how to use Python or something. So you could do all kinds of tutorials related to that. So you might build something and using code and show people how to do all types of coding on these tutorials. Like this guy, CS Dojo, has over 1 million subscribers doing stuff like that. And when you're on a budget, you'll probably not have as fancy of a video or as cool of editing as you might want, but later on, after you've made some money from ad revenue or however you're monetizing your YouTube channel, you can invest into some cool software and stuff later on. And then another thing you can do is compilation videos. But the thing about these, you're kind of dealing with a bit of a risk that is copyright. So copyright infringement can kill entire channels, of course, but in many cases, compilations don't get flagged as much unless just the people who originally posted that footage find out and it doesn't help them in any way that you're using it, and so they'll have you take it down. So, for instance, musicians are really big on like not letting you use anything from their music or videos or anything like that. But if you do something like, let's say people are awesome, you get a lot of clips of just random people on Instagram and, you know, whatever else doing cool stuff, Reddit, you know, and you just put them together in a compilation. You can message people to get their permission, which I recommend you do if you're going to do that, just to kind of reduce your risk. Get something signed, or, you know, get an email or something that says that you have permission to use it in a compilation. And then you also want to have a submissions page later on, like peopleareawesome.com does, where you can submit the URL. And basically when you check these boxes and submit them, you agree to their terms of service and submission, which will pretty much give them the right to use the video, and, you know, basically making it to where you can't just come after them for using it because you gave them permission. So a lot of people, once your channel gets big, might submit videos to you for compilations. So you can do that, like People Are Awesome, or you can do fails or funny moments. You know, they've had entire TV shows of clips like these. Or you could do something like gaming. So Red Arcade is basically compilations of gaming stuff. So you have all kinds of gaming clips on these, fails and crazy stunts people have pulled on these games, and you can see those at Red Arcade's YouTube channel that has almost 3.7 million subscribers. Now you could do something like that, and actually you could create channels like this and use clips from Twitch by going to search. Maybe you typed in Apex Legends. If you type in something like that, then you could go to, you know, say you went to so say you went to clips, and then you can filter by the top out of the last, you know, however many days or whatever. And you can find how long these clips are. So you can do stuff like that to basically find clips that you could make compilations for. And the good thing about these is if you give proper attribution to these people, like you put their Twitch username in the corner of each video, promoting them in your compilation videos, in many cases they'll be glad for you to do that, because it makes them more popular. It makes people more likely to go follow them and get them paid on Twitch. So that's another thing you can do, but I still recommend you get permission if possible. And then of course you can take clips from your console. Now I know you can do this on Xbox and PC and stuff. Apparently you can do this on PlayStation and stuff as well, but there's a tutorial on Kotaku on how to do this. But you can actually check out websites or YouTube channels like Boss Fight Database or something, and this is something that I don't believe that they do it this particular way, but you definitely could. You could record yourself fighting a boss in a video game, and after you've actually finished the fight, you can go back and record like the last 5 minutes of it, and then post that directly to YouTube from your Xbox. Now you can do the same thing basically with PC and probably PlayStation as well, and it just gives you another thing that where you don't have to record and, you know, do it over and over and over again or do a whole bunch of editing. You can actually record something after you've done it, so you already know it's really cool, you've already completed it. You just get that short clip of what just happened, and then you can post it to YouTube. So again, I don't think Boss Fight Database does this, but it would be an example of something you could do. You could do boss fights and just record them after you finished, and just post them directly to YouTube like that. And all you have to do is you just use the gaming console that you already have. So it doesn't really cost you a whole lot to do that. And again, I'll have a link to this article here that shows you what you can do based on the console or device that you're using. And then last but not least, you can post your podcast episodes on YouTube like Tim Ferriss does. Now, obviously, it would take more equipment and maybe even some staff members to do the in-person interviews that he does that are high quality. But instead of that, you could just post the audio on YouTube like he does with many of his other episodes, where he just has a picture of the podcast and a picture of the person he interviews. So if you have a podcast, you could just post those directly on there. Just have a static image that includes the cover of your podcast and the person you're interviewing or the topic you're covering, and then that's it. People just listen to it in the background on YouTube instead of listening to it on Stitcher or Apple or whatever. So those are a bunch of ways that you can make YouTube channels if you're broke or on a very small budget. And again, you're going to probably want to get something like DaVinci Resolve 16 or Lightworks for your editing if you're going to, you know, make them look more professional without spending money on software. So those are two free options. And then I mentioned, of course, more options for other things throughout the video. So hopefully this was helpful for you. Check out that playlist in the top right if you want to see more ways to make money from YouTube, more video ideas, more channel ideas. And other than that, I'll see you in the next video.